A Garage presents 10 things that you might have missed in the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Now, this countdown is going to include things from Five Nights at Freddy's 1 through 4, so there might be some spoilers ahead. Don't say I didn't warn you. Number 10. If you look at this picture from the first Five Nights at Freddy's game, it looks as though there's a handprint on Freddy's face. This may be kinda hard to see at first, but you can kinda make it out. This raised questions to whether or not Freddy might have been the one who caused the bite of 87, as mentioned by the phone guy. However, this prank could also be from the phone guy himself, because it does sound like he dies in night 4 of the first game.
I'm gonna try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. Yeah, I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know. Oh
no. If you ask me, I think it was probably Freddy that got him. I just love how Scott added so many little things into this game that most people probably miss, except those people who decide to pull up the picture of Freddy and just stare at it for hours in those menacing eyes, just waiting for him to come out and grab you and decide to start calling you senpai. Number 9. In Five Nights at Freddy's 1, Chica could be seen holding the cupcake on stage, but it disappears as soon as she leaves the stage. I was actually really surprised at this one because I never noticed it in all the times that I was playing. Watch gameplays. The guitar in Bonnie's hand is also the guitar that... I know, I'm sorry, I just had to throw one in there. Don't worry, there isn't going to be another one. Or will there? No, I'm really done. Or am I? Yeah, I am. Okay, the cupcakes in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Alright, moving on. Number 8. The messages within the blurred text around the Help Wanted ad in the first 3 Five Nights at Freddy's. In the first 2 games, the text just says a lot of random stuff, probably just to fill up space on the newspaper, I guess. The one in the Five Nights at Freddy's 3, on the other hand, actually tells a backstory of the making of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Pretty interesting, I gotta say. If you're curious for what those have to say, you should probably go check it out. Number 7. Sometimes one of the paper plates will mysteriously disappear from your camera view and reappear in your office in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This can also occur in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. I don't believe anyone has ever found a reason behind this, so it's most likely one of those small Easter eggs hidden within the game. If it were me playing, however, I'd probably be too busy hyperventilating to notice. Number 6. There is a very rare chance that when you die in the Five Nights at Freddy's games, you will get what is called a death screen. Rather than just going back to the main menu like normal, you will get this thing. It doesn't do anything like make loud noises like the jump scares do, and it'll only stay up for a few seconds. Although if you're playing this game in the dark and you haven't yet controlled your breathing from your previous jump scare, it may feel like a tad longer. Number 5. A very rare screen of the puppet. There is a very rare chance that you'll get a hallucination of the puppet when viewing the cameras. The only time this can occur, however, is if you haven't wound up the music box and the puppet is about to get you. Kinda like the death screen I mentioned earlier, only before the jump scare. Expect to scream within a few seconds of seeing this. Jump scare. Number 4. In Five Nights at Freddy's 3, in the room where the Foxy head is located, there is a poster on the wall that has Bonnie drawn on it. Not a big deal. On rare occasions though, it may change to a picture of the cupcake. Horrifying, I know. But what's really intriguing is that on an even rarer occasion, the cupcake may be painted gold instead of pink. What does this mean? I don't got the slightest clue. Number 3. In Five Nights at Freddy's 4, if you look near the bed, you may sometimes see an IV bag, some flowers, or some pills. This is probably to mean that the child you play as is most likely in recovery, and hints that everything that is happening might just be a dream or his imagination. Another hint of this is when you close the closet on Foxy, he sometimes turns into a small plushie. Oh, look at the little plushie, look at the little plushie. Number 2, if you flash your flashlight in the left hallway in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the pictures on the wall are actually pictures of the game's creator, Scott, and his family. Again, nothing to do with the story, but a fun little Easter egg nonetheless. Number 1, my favorite Easter egg on this list. I almost didn't even believe it when I found it actually. In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, when you open up the custom night screen, you'll see that there are 10 animatronics within the game that you can play against. Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, Foxy, Toy Freddy, Toy Chica, Toy Bonnie, Mangled, Balloon Boy, and of course everyone's favorite, the puppet. And surprisingly, Golden Freddy. But what if I told you there were actual hidden animatronics within the game? Yeah, the new Five Nights at Freddy's 4 game introduced Fredbear and Nightmare Freddy, but those you actually have to watch out for within the game. I'm talking about animatronics added to the game for no apparent reason. The first one and most obvious is the shadow that sometimes mysteriously appears in the office and sometimes slowly disappears, crashing the game. Very similar to the Golden Freddy Easter egg within the first game. Some people thought it might be a hint to Springtrap in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, but in Five Nights at Freddy's 3's minigames, this shadowy animatronic appears as it is. The second animatronic hidden is Shadow Freddy, which actually looks very similar to Golden Freddy. Again, people believe this was probably just some weird Golden Freddy, but in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, this shadowy Freddy also appears in the minigames. And same as Shadow Bonnie, if you stare at him for too long, your game will crash. The third animatronic, or rather just its endoskeleton, is a rare occurrence that sometimes comes out when the puppet leaves its room after you forget to wind its music box. Now, the first time I saw this, I questioned its legitimacy, but well enough, I checked and it's in the game files. It's even possible for it to crawl into the vents toward the office, but by then, if the puppet still hasn't gotten you, yeah, you should probably just exit the game. And the final animatronic hidden in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a character very similar to Balloon Boy, only instead of blue eyes, this one has pink. This makes me believe that this might actually be a female version of the Balloon Boy or Balloon Girl. This one might be very easy to miss, as there's only a small chance of it happening and it's barely noticeable. This animatronic doesn't actually do anything, but just imagine you're at a night shift at a creepy ass Chuck E. Cheese and you catch a pair of eyes looking at you from under the table. Yeah, let me board the fuck no train. And there you have it, 10 things you might have missed in the Five Nights at Freddy's games. This is a list of the most interesting that I found out there and that I personally was surprised to figure out. But trust me, there's a lot more out there. Feel free to go check them out for yourself. You might be surprised what you'll find. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you could tap that like button if you enjoyed and subscribe for future videos. If you have an idea for a top 10 countdown, let me know in the comments below. I make top 10s on just about anything. And with that being said, I'll thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.